And he's got 100 touchdowns. I mean, if you think Barkley's great, what do you think of Derrick Henry? Eye test is part of it. If that was the case, Bo Jackson would be in the Hall of Fame. Bo Jackson's the best runner I've ever seen. He's the best running back I've ever seen. Yale, you tell me, Yale. Tell these folks. Bo Jackson's the best running back I've ever seen and ever played against. I've never seen a guy that big, that runs that fast at 4 flat 40s. I've never seen it. Yeah, better than Barry. Yes. I've never seen it. But his career was cut short. And get this, his greatness was he played center field for the Royals, and then he played the second half of the year for the Raiders. You want to know how great an athlete? Bo Jackson's the greatest athlete that's ever played sports. Do you understand that? He played professional baseball and football in the same year. I mean, who does that? And he was an all-star in both. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Bo Jackson started in the all-star game and also was a Pro Bowler. There's nothing like that. I mean, the guy was one of the most gifted people I've ever seen. Hit the like button. 9 days out. Here we are here. 9 days out. Bo played 4 seasons, I know. Bo was just truly, I mean, I played against him in college when he was at Auburn. It was just one of the craziest, freakiest athletes I've ever seen. Played against him when I was at Maryland and at Miami. Just truly one of the greatest of all time. All right, I got to ask Zander this question here. Do you want the straight jacket on or off in Super Bowl 59? God dang it, Zander. Oh, wait, I was looking at a text I just got. That was from last night. I forgot. And I got to get him the Kellen Moore comments here on what's going on. So let's first start it out. Without further ado, let's bring our boy in here. Big Z, Zander Krause.
What's up, big cells?
Hey, I'll tell you what, man.
I don't know what text you're talking about. Sometimes, cells, you got to get out the belt and just...
Hey, Big Z, you want straight jacket on? Or do you want straight jacket off in 9 days?
All right. I think you're missing the boat on this.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I want the straight jacket off, but it's not about the straight jacket. It's about the play of Jalen Hurts. Because when Jalen Hurts plays well and the straight jacket's off, you put up 55 points. If the straight jacket's off and he doesn't play well and you have 62 net passing yards, then you got a different ballgame. Then you're opening yourself up to potential turnovers. Or you go back to the earlier games in the year where he turned the ball over. So I want the straight jacket off, but it's not as much about the straight jacket being off as it is about Jalen needs to play well. And I think he's going to play well, by the way. Nowhere have I ever seen where I think Jalen's going to come into this game and not play well. I see the smirk on your face. You're like, I'm not ready to say that. Did you hear John McMullen this morning push back on me? I'm like, Jalen shows up in big games, and he's like, well, is the Rams game a big game? So I think it's about Jalen playing well, man. It's about Jalen playing well, but straight jacket off.
How about this, Zander? Don't you think that's the feel of the coordinator?
Of
because
what?
if he's playing well, you're going to keep going to him and going to the well. If you're not playing well and you're seeing 3 and outs, do they go back to the run game and hang on the run game, which has been so successful in beating teams up?
Potentially. Look, every game has its own personality. So I think you're going to see, how the game develops before we get to that point, and see where the game goes. I mean, with the Commander game, you were kind of always in control once the Commanders decided to settle for that field goal after their 18-play drive. Eagles took control there and never gave it back up, which allowed them to kind of play football however they wanted. If the Chiefs open up with a touchdown and the Eagles aren't able to get on the board, and then they're down, let's say 10, because the defense are going to stop on that second one and give up a field goal, that changes the way you got to play the game. That more puts you in a box and says you can't play however you want. So depending on the personality of the game, I think that will change. But got to have a good running attack, man. Got to have a good running attack. This Chiefs team will keep coming, and you got to. I think you really have to have a good running attack, and I think it's got to be. I almost want it to be slower and more methodical at 6 yards a carry than I do, 3 breakaway touchdowns where you're going, like you said the other day, you give Holmes 12, 13 possessions in this game, they're going to have 30 points. They're going to have 30 plus points. Yep. So, and that's not a knock on our defense. Nope. I mean, that's just them converting on 4, 5, 6 of those drives. So, I want the run game to control the clock, really.
Well, Zander, you have to excuse me for a second here because I'm taking a little time here with your coach because he's really busy right now, fielding phone calls right now on potential coaches now in New Orleans. And also, I heard he's down in the Jefferson Parish now looking for homes down there in the parish. See, they're not counties, they're parishes down there in New Orleans there. So, I mean, I heard he's really fond of a place down there. Oh, by the way, is the Super Bowl in New Orleans? Holy shit.
We're practicing. We're the home team. We're practicing at the Saints facility all week. You understand this? This is where when the Eagles get there, all their stuff will be set up in the New Orleans Saints facility.
So then Kellen Moore is going to walk.
Kellen Moore. Wait. Kellen Moore is going to spend his week of Super Bowl prep preparing and coaching in his soon-to-be home.
In his own office.
I know, Eagle fan. I understand, and I'm with you guys, where I want to say to myself so bad, this doesn't mean shit. He wants this Super Bowl. Dude, putting together just so we're clear, I spend 15 hours a day here on YouTube stuff. You think assembling an NFL coaching staff late in January, early February is like, hey, he made a couple of phone calls after work. No. He's spending this is significant work that he's doing right now. And by the way, this wasn't fake reporters. This is Tom Pelissero, who's right from the NFL Network. I mean, this guy he's credible. So he's saying Kellen's already building that staff. And even Gannon was a little bit different, Apple, because that came to development later. Remember, Gannon thought he had a different job. Then he didn't get that job. Arizona came later. We're 9 days out from a Super Bowl. And they're already, they put out the report that was put out today was, it's not finalized, but the Saints are alerting other candidates that they're continuing conversations. I'm like, you don't alert other candidates to continue a conversation. That deal is done. How much is this going to take away from Kellen Moore? It's not an if. It's not an if. How much? Okay.
Ask yourself this, Zander. How much work do you think you put into this channel every day?
Oh my God. I work in this office.
23 hours. You're always got the phone on. You're always working. What do you say?
Always. All day.
18 hours a day?
For 13, 14 hours a day, every single day.
So I'm going to ask you now to start a new one. And you're going to start a new channel to go along with what you're doing now.
Which I've done. Yeah, no, you're right. It takes away. You don't have time for it. 100%.
I mean, 100%. When anybody says it doesn't matter, your time is valuable, right?
Yeah, no. Anybody who says it doesn't matter, man, is wrong. Is 100% wrong. This 100% matters. Now, I'm also going to say this. There are high-functioning human beings, okay? There are people that are capable of handling multiple things. I don't want to sit here and say, because he's doing one thing, he will not be able to do another thing. I don't think that's fair. But to sit here, we talked to John a lot, and he's like, These people have free time. Like, these people aren't robots, right? They go home, they have kids, they have things that they do. Adding a coaching interview is not taking away from what they're doing on their regular work. Well, when you now know you have a head coach job, and you now know, you're in control of your destiny, and you now know you're responsible for building out your next coaching staff, and you're responsible for who the quarterback becomes, and all these different things, I'm sorry, your mind is going to different places. Without a doubt. Imagine if you got a multi-million-dollar gig and it started in a week from now, and you knew that in order to keep that gig, you had to keep it. You'd say, "Hey, Zander, I love you, man. Business is business. I got other shit to worry about." And I would say, "All right, tip my cap. I respect it."
Well, here. So what do you think is more important to him as a priority right now, just in the back of his mind? Prepping Jalen Hurts for a Super Bowl 59 in 9 days, or figuring out if Derek Carr gets the $30 million after March 1st, and if he's his guy, right now he's guaranteed $10 million. Mickey Loomis and him have to determine whether or not that guy's the guy going forward. What do you think is more of a priority in his life? His life dream of being a head coach, or his life's goal?
See, Mike Pittery.
Life's goal is to be a head coach. Life's dream is to get a Super Bowl win. What do you think?
It's still a very high stakes game. There's no way that Kellen doesn't want to win. But Kellen, Mike Pittery checks in. Why would Kellen half-ass a Super Bowl? And I'm not scared.
I'm not saying he is.
I'm not scared. I'm just pointing out what's going on with Kellen Moore is not ideal. It's not ideal at all. You're going to have to overcome this for sure. But Mike, he now knows that he's going to be in control. You ask a coach, and that's won a Super Bowl as a head coach and a coordinator. Well, which one means more? I know they all mean a lot, but when you're the master of the ship, when you're the head of the snake, it's different. And listen, I won't sit here and say Kellen will half-ass a Super Bowl. I won't say that.
No, I don't believe it.
But again, how much time will he spend on all this other stuff? I mean, you just said it. Guy's in cap hell with quarterbacks. He's got draft coming up. I mean, Kellen Moore
assembling a staff.
All right, here, let me ask you this. All right.
Hey, by the
People
way,
who are hard workers.
Don't be shocked if Clint Hurt gets that DC job down there.
Oh, don't. Oh, you're right, because they're not going to elevate him here. People who are hard workers in life, Sills. All right. People who work overtime. And I like to believe that most NFL coaches are hard workers, right? I mean, it's a hard job. It's a hard thing to do. So, when you get off work, you don't really get off work. You do, but you don't, right? Like with me, I can finish up. I start watching Eagles content. I turn on NFL, whatever it is you might do. All right. What do you think Kellen Moore is doing tonight after work?
He's figuring out, talking to people that he admires and who he can lean on that will be confidants on who would be a good DB coach, a good receiver coach. He'd reach out to some of the connections that he's made in the past, some of that stuff that
right. In other words, he's not doing any extra Super Bowl work. His extra time is going right to this other stuff. Now, Yale says, who knows? You're right. We don't know. I'm just saying, I'd like to assume that Nick Sirianni right now.
Wouldn't you, Yale?
Yeah. Look at me. I right now, I work because I care so much about where we are. And I think this is such a big moment with the Super Bowl. You're going all night. You don't care. It's so I'll finish when I'm done, man. Kellen Moore is probably in another spot. Now, he can get his work done. Not saying he can't, but that extra edge that you get from Vic Fangio, I'm sorry, but nobody can tell me Vic Fangio is not obsessively watching and grinding and preparing for this Super Bowl morning, noon, and night right now. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can tell me that would say Vic Fangio is not doing that. Kellen doesn't have that right now. I don't know. I don't want to make too much of it, but fuck you, Kellen.
Wait, how about this?
This is an issue. And by the way, if you lose, isn't it an issue inevitably?
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what happens.
How about this? Richard brings a great point up. I like it. By the way, all supers will be read. How about this, man? The players this time won't let it happen like it happened last time in 22 with Gannon and Steichen. Steichen already knew he had the Colts job. He knew it, and it was settled. Gannon was out house hunting in Scottsdale. I mean, everybody kind of knew what was going on. And I don't know how you don't sit there and, dude, you got Andy fucking Reid and Steve Spagnuolo and Mahomes. You need all your undivided time to beat them three guys.
You're not wrong. I don't know, man. I hope it's not an issue. That's all I'll say. I hope it's not an issue. But look, we all know this is tough stuff. So he's not gonna, he didn't get a job at the daycare. I mean, his next job is a lot harder than his job now. So I would imagine his brain is somewhat there. And to the point about the players, I mean, I've never really gotten any sort of impression one way or the other on Kellen Moore. Like he's almost so neutral. It's like, do the players like him? Do the players like him? Do they not like him? Is there any sort of emotional connection there? Like even with Nick, you might not like Nick, but like you see CJ hug him and cry. You see Devontae Smith on the Unscripted last night, like 2 and 4 effing years, man. Let's keep this going. I love you, brother. Like there's emotion. There's a bond there. There's a connection. I've never seen that one way or the other with Kellen.
No, okay? Kellen reminds me of a librarian.
Right? The Eagles are at practice today, okay? They get off the practice field. They load up their phones, whatever they do. Tom Pelissero just reported the Saints have told everyone else that they can stop trying to get the Saints job, and Kellen Moore's the leader. Like, do you go congratulate him? Do you say, hey, Kellen, are you getting the job? Is it an open conversation? What's the room like? Or is everybody walking on eggshells because you know that this guy is now going to be the head coach of the Saints next in 10 days? I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. It's certainly an interesting dynamic.
How about this, man? When I see Kellen Moore, I go, I don't know, man. He reminds me of a dude that works at a library. He's just like over here, man. I mean, the map room's over in the back next to like the tax code books. That's what it reminds me of. Because you're right, I don't see any emotion. Shit, you see Nick, he's up here, he's here. Dude, you know what? He's like the guy, those heart things you put on people to get their heart going. He's like fucking one of them guys. This guy's all over the joint here. I got some new bold predictions for the Super Bowl.
All right, I like them. Let's hear them.
Here we go. The team that scores first will win the Super Bowl.
Heavy disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I like it as a prediction. It's possible. I mean, it's a 50% chance.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like a crazy, but I don't think
what a reach, Sills.
Yeah, it's not crazy, but I mean, again, we scored first in Super Bowl 57, if I'm not mistaken. We were up pretty much that entire game. So, we didn't win that game. So take that one and shove it. All right.
I'm going to stick with this Barkley getting 200 yards in this game.
I really don't know how you can say Barkley's going to get 200 yards and we're not going to win. So to me, I know what Sileo's. I know who Sileo. Now it doesn't have to be right, but I will tell everybody if Dan Sileo truly believes that Saquon Barkley is going to run for 200 yards in this game, then Dan Sileo's score prediction on next Friday will result in an Eagles win. Okay, well, that's what it will be. All right, we'll see if it is, but that's what I'm saying.
Jalen Carter will outplay Chris Jones.
I like that's a bold prediction. It is a bold prediction, but the reason I like it is because I believe that Chris Jones is a much harder task. You got to go up against Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, and Landon Dickerson. I mean, those are big boys. Those are big boys. I mean, those dudes will beat you up.
Left tackle.
Those dudes will beat you to F up. Jalen Carter is so smooth, and I like that. That's a good prediction, but that'd be big, man. I think Chris Jones is still the best defensive tackle in the game.
A defensive football player will be the MVP in the Super Bowl.
I'm going to say no. You're not going to like my Super Bowl MVP pick.
Okay, I'm curious. Who do you think would be?
I already know who I'm going to pick in the game next week for the Super Bowl MVP.
Oh, my God. Wait. Is it 5 letters?
Yeah.
Oh, no. It can't be. No way. Oh, my God. Holy cow.
He's got to be the difference.
Friends, we have a new case of Ebola. It's called Hertzola. And my boy Zander's caught it. He's now officially caught a
Wait
disease.
a second. Let me ask you guys a
Harper,
question.
where are you? He's now
For
one.
all you knuckleheads that are about to say Sanders and Jalen, oh, well, let me explain to you something, okay? And especially the people who have watched the National Football Show for the last 4.5 years, okay? Listen closely. How many times has the host of this show, the great Dan Sileo, who's on the screen with me right now, how many times has he told you elite quarterbacks win Super Bowls, not teams? How many times has he told you that? How many times has he gone through the last 20 winners and showed you elite quarterback, elite quarterback, elite quarterback, elite quarterback? How many times? Okay. I believe 100% without a shadow of a doubt that in 9 days, we are going to be Super Bowl champions in the city of Philadelphia. Because of that belief, I believe our quarterback is going to have one of his best games ever. Okay. I don't think it's a reach at all for me to say Jalen Hurts is going to be the MVP. In fact, if he doesn't have an MVP performance, we could be real sad on Sunday night in a week and a half. Okay. So I don't say that because I'm trying to be a Jalenite or I'm trying to expect something crazy. We need him to be the difference maker. We need him to be exceptional. Even if it's only 20 passes, they have to be exceptional. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game. So I believe we're going to win. And I believe Jalen Hurts is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. And man, I'm already picturing Jalen Hurts on the podium, holding up the Lombardi in one hand with the Super Bowl MVP in another, and the entire NFL world melting down. They talked, they hated, they doubted, and now they will watch. They will watch as the Philadelphia Eagles live in the history books.
What will 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl win and a Super Bowl MVP mean to Jalen Hurts and how people look at him?
Well, first off, he will instantly become the greatest quarterback in Eagles lore, in Eagles history. Instantly. I don't even think it's a question or a debate on Monday morning.
Now, here's the thing to that comment you just made. Nobody's saying he's the most talented.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying
But
at all.
he'll be the best.
He is 100. We have had great quarterbacks in this city. Many before my time that I didn't even have the privilege of growing up and watching. Okay. But if you have a guy that comes into this city and in 4 years has 2 NFC titles, a Super Bowl ring, 50 wins or whatever it's been,
and a Super Bowl MVP,
and he's 26 years old, I'm sorry. I mean, there's just no debate. There's just nothing else that exists that would prove that there's been a more valuable quarterback to this city. There isn't. I think even you can agree, as much as you might not want to hear that.
No. No, his resume would be, you can't argue against it. I mean,
you cannot.
Okay.
You can't.
See, I look at him, and I'm starting to look at him like Troy Aikman. And what I mean by that is this. You're not going to pick Troy Aikman to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but Aikman's got 3 rings.
Yeah.
But he fit into something that they were doing, into a culture of running the ball, playing great D, third down receiver, getting the slant to Irvin. It would be something like that. And get this. You know how many people have 3 Super Bowl rings?
Not many.
And north of, there's only 3 dudes that's got more rings than Aikman.
You know what? I think that comparison is exactly what Eagles fans everywhere should want out of Jalen. I mean, if you get that, Sills,
Aikman's got 3 Super Bowls.
You know, I had a segment, by the way, with I do the post game show, where I bring on people and we talk about, the game after the games, after our post game show. Okay. And I had a guy on once, Underdog. You see him in your chat often. I'm not sure if he's here right now. I haven't seen him all week, but Underdog, if you're listening, I appreciate you, brother. And Underdog came on, and he's in the book of Sills, where he is an old school Jalen fan, or an old school Eagles fan, excuse me, and he strongly dislikes Jalen Hurts because, not dislikes him, but doesn't believe he's good enough for the roster, and believes with a different quarterback, we would be a dynasty instantly. Well, he brought up that exact team you just referenced with the Cowboys. He says, we are the 90s Cowboys.
Yes.
We have our Emmitt Smith. We have, our Michael Irvin. We have all of those guys. If Jalen can beat Troy, then that's all you need. Our team is good enough for that. All right. Now, I actually think that Jalen has the ability to change games more because of some of the other things he can do. But again, Troy Aikman is a very successful quarterback. I would be very happy if Jalen can be that type of player for this Eagles team. Get the most out of your talent. Get the ball to your playmakers. Don't make bad decisions. Don't cost your team football games. Have great people around you, and more importantly, use the great people around you. And we could be look. Philly 500 just said it, man. I want you to envision something for a second. I want everybody to envision.
By the way, you can also make the comparison. Great O-line like the Cowboys O-line.
Yes, exactly. He mentioned that as well. Great O-line. I want you to envision something for a second. Envision we're a month from today. All right. And let's just say, for the sake of the conversation, that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Okay. A month from today will not be turning the pit. You're starting to turn the pit. Okay, what's the next year look like? What's the draft look like? What can we do to sustain this level?
March 12th, you turn the page, starts the new NFL
Exactly. Exactly. 100%. So a month from today, we'll be looking at this team and say, we got 2 Super Bowl trips in 3 years. We got 1 Super Bowl ring. We got a 26 or 27-year-old star wide receiver. We got another 25-year-old star wide receiver. Our quarterback is 26 years old. Jalen Carter is 23. Nolan Smith is 23. Nakobe Dean is 24. Zach Bond is 27. Quinyon Mitchell's 22. Cooper DeJean is 21. Saquon Barkley's 27. Landon Dickerson's 26. You get what I'm saying? You're going to look at this team and say, your window is there, and it's open for the foreseeable future.
Okay, well, I'll just give you one reference. The 85 Bears never won another one. You know why? They started losing coordinators. They started losing focus. This was even before free agency. Don't forget free agency. What happens when you win, Zander? Paychecks go up.
Well,
keeping people intact, because you're going to say this. Your window is 2 years. And I'll tell you why. A lot of those young players, their contracts are going to be getting into that 50-year option. And you're going to have to start determining who stays, who doesn't, who you keeping. I mean, you're going to just.
All right, well, here's what I'd say.
Here.
I agree. It's 2 years by default because of where you are today.
Because of free agency.
Good GM play can extend that or lower that. Okay?
That's right.
That's so and by the way, I think Howie right now is operating at a better level than he's ever operated in his GMing career. Okay. So I believe because of Howie and what he's been able to do, he will take that 2 years. And you're not wrong. If he doesn't do anything good or make the right moves, the window's 2 years. I believe he'll make the right moves. He'll get the right guys signed. I mean, I showed you the last 4 drafts. The top 3 picks of the last 4 drafts are insane. Insane. And 4 years ago, remember, we talked about the last 3 years. 4 years ago, I know they're offensive. Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, and Milton Williams. Those are the top 3 picks of your draft 4 years ago. So the last 4 drafts for this team have been so lights out. So agreed, the window is 2 years, but boy, do you have a chance to make it 3, 4, 5 years with good GMing. And obviously you need health. You need health. You know, you got to have people stay healthy,
and you got to have people want to stay. And I'll say this to you. If Milton Williams wins a Super Bowl in 9 days, that'll be 2 NFC championships in a Super Bowl for him. And he's a starter on a team that's considered the #1 defensive team. Why the fuck am I staying in Philly?
He's gone.
I'm going to go get $20 million. If I'm Mekhi Becton and I've got 18 to 19 teams that need to build O-line like in New York with the Giants, or I'm not going to say Jets because I doubt they'd go back. Chicago needs O-line because they got to start putting Jacksonville needs O-line. Yeah. Why would I stay in Philly when I can go get $18 million in a 3-year contract? I mean, look at what Andre Dillard got in Tennessee. He got 9 a year, and the guy was a stiff. This guy's not a stiff. So now listen, the price of winning comes with a big time.
Yep.
deal here. And now, in the next couple of years, you're going to have to decide on Jordan Davis's extension, on what you're going to do with him. Then you're going to also have to start to look at Nakobe.
Yep.
And Nakobe's going to be coming off a pretty big knee injury. What are you doing there? Okay, you're probably going to get Zach signed. You're going to lose Isaiah Rodgers. He's gone. Slay's gone. I mean, you've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. But this
so
is
when
where
you say all of that with a window, all those young players that are on the rookie deals, you are dead on that is a huge deal compared to 22. That your turnover next year is not going to be as catastrophic as it was in 23. That was a huge turn. You lost both interior linebackers. You lost your interior D tackle Hargrave to San Francisco, right?
Yeah, but to your point, right? And because I think what you said is good, and it's fair, but it goes back to my same point, I think, where if you have good, competent GM play, you make up for those holes. Remember, we left Isaac Seumalo go a couple of years ago.
Yep.
You know, most teams can't let a guy like that go, but the Eagles have process and coaching and results from within that allow them to move on from players, and they've gotten so good at the contingency plans. I mean, look at all of our notable like people that have left in the last 2 years. TJ Edwards, I know it took 2 years, has become Zach Bond. You know, even Fletcher Cox has become Jalen Carter. You know, Javon Hargrave became Milton Williams. Hassan Reddick has now become Nolan Smith. I mean, the process of how the Birds are running their team right now is allowing, because that turnover that you mentioned is inevitable. It's going to, right. It happens though. It's going to happen. You can't avoid some of what you explained, that you're going to lose players. Their contracts go up. They get money. That's how it works.
Stupid agents. Look at Reddick.
Exactly.
Reddick's agent and Reddick destroyed a year.
He destroyed his own career. What would Hassan Reddick? I don't even want to go down.
Reddick would be.
Imagine if he never bitched so much about the contract, played out his last year of $14.5 million this year, and went and had 14 sacks. He'd be lined up for a $50 million contract. But he's dumb, had an awful year, lost out on a bunch of money in fines, and now he's probably not going to get another big contract at all.
Oh, so absolutely not.
I said that when it was happening. I'm like, does this guy really believe this is going to lead to more money for him? If it's all about money, this doesn't lead to more money. Some of these guys get such bad advice. It's like, huh?
Cost them money. Cost them
major money.
He basically played for free.
Yeah, you know what else is key here? And we've already talked about it, but I want to go back to it for a second real quick. This next coordinator that we pick on offense, it must be the right one. Think about this. You just explained it. You lose coordinators. The more things that happen to your football team, the harder it is to sustain your success. Okay? So if you and look at where we are on defense, though.
Yeah.
Vic Fangio had the number one defense in the league. He's not a head coach candidate anywhere. He's not going anywhere. Vic Fangio will retire in Philadelphia, would be my guess. Yes. So we've now created stability on that side of the ball. Now, we don't know what that stability is going to look like yet. We've only seen Vic for 1 year. Okay. We haven't seen him sustain things, but that stability is now in there.
Oh, I feel good about it.
I feel great about it.
Yep.
We need that on offense, man. Enough of these 37-year-old, 38, 40-year-old guys that are trying to be head coaches. Give me Frank Reich. Give me who's the guy in that they use in Baltimore? Todd Monken. Give me a dude that's not one of these hot new names. Give me somebody that's going to work around Jalen's skill set. Get the right guy that's not going to be a hot head coaching candidate for the next couple of years. Find a guy that's comfortable being a coordinator, believes that's the best role. Believe me. There's plenty of people in this world, and I'm sure in the football world, who don't, who understand that they're better as a coordinator than they are as a head coach. You know, not everybody wants to or believes they should be the head guy. Some people are better in the cockpit. That's fine. So find that guy a coordinator and stick with them, because that will help so much if we're talking about, you know, not only this Super Bowl, but potentially becoming a team that is here every year or has a chance at coming here every year.
Before we get to the Supers, I'm going to ask you this one.
By the way, can I plug one thing before you go? Tonight, 6 o'clock, right after the show, Johnny Mack will be joining me for an update from practice today. So a bunch of players spoke, Jalen spoke, and we'll get the practice update right after. So make sure you guys lock in and tune in to football 24/7 coming up after the show.
I pray to God we get a little bit of comment on. Do you think this Brandon Graham thing is that me? I think it's a nothing burger. I mean, I think it's a feel good story. I think it's great. I mean, it's kind of a ceremonial thing. 5 snaps in a Super Bowl. Okay, sure. Okay. I mean, to me, I don't really think it's a story, except it's a feel good, great story. How do you look at it? I mean, dude, I think the 3-man rotation. I heard you say it on Birds today. I think it's working great. I mean, I'm not going to upset any kind of chemistry that they got going on just to make Brandon feel better about himself. I mean,
yeah, but I'm not changing that rotation, but I want Brandon Graham and pads coming out of that tunnel. I think you're sleeping on. I think you're sleeping on what that man means.
He's missed
not
more
only to the city, but I think to the team, to everybody around. He is such an infectious human being. For anybody, I don't know if anybody's met Brandon Graham. I have met Brandon Graham. It oozes out of him.
He's missed 4 months.
I'm not saying play. I'm talking basically. If he gets 5 snaps, that's fine. Whatever. That's fine. You might need him 3 to 5 snaps or whatever it might be in there. Get rid of Huff. We don't need Huff out there at all. No. But I want Brandon Graham running out that. If Brandon Graham is able to run out that, I'd rather have
Brandon than Huff.
Yeah, I agree. And God forbid something could happen to one of those edge rushers in the game. I'd much rather have Brandon in relief than Bryce Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I want Brandon running out of that tunnel, man. I love Brandon Graham. He's probably I could make the argument for him as right now as my all-time favorite Eagle. That's how much I like Brandon Graham. Okay. Yeah.
You know who mine is, and I'm kind of prejudiced in it. So.
Absolutely. Oh, boy, wait. Did I show you?
No.
Did you see it this morning when you were watching?
No, I didn't see it.
We got another one.
Oh, fuck.
And it might be coming your way.
Hey, look at that bitch. Look at that thing, man. Holy cow, does that look great?
This is a big silk size, too, brother.
It is, man. Look at that. You got the patch, 99 patch on it, too. That's dope, dude. There's Jerome Brown. Holy cow, man. That looks really great.
This might be Sileo.
That's the only jersey that I would wear.
I got a great idea. I will expedite ship this to Mr. Sileo.
And I'll wear it every day to the Super Bowl.
Wait a second. For the post-game show, when we're raising the Lombardi, Big Sills is rolling in a Jerome Brown jersey, baby. Woo!
Hey, real quick before we get to the Supers, Frank spoke to Howie today.
Oh, did he? I love that. I love Frank Wright because he would check every box I just said. Older guy, not going to get another head coaching job. You'll have stability there. And I think he'll work really well with Jalen, by the way.
Yep.
I like Frank Wright working with Jalen.
Let's get to the Supers, my friend.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. M. Reyes, eat my short Sills 52-3.
Hey, it's the only time that you worked it last week, M. Reyes. I mean, you got a 50 burger last week.
Yeah. Abe checks in. So y'all point on DBs. How important is Christian Parker, the defensive back coach for our defense? I'm thinking very high. Hope we could keep him. Abe, he's a guy, too, to watch out for as a candidate in the future for an upgrade.
And Bobby King.
And Bobby King. But if you listen to Christian Parker, he is a whiz, man. He is a really smart guy. So that's a good call, Abe. He could be going.
Great staff they got this year.
Yeah, they really do, man. They really corrected that defensive staff.
Sure
Nick Fangio, Clint Hurt, Bobby King, Christian Parker, really good.
Yep, all
Lawrence
good.
Gray says Jalen Hurts equals Walter Payton, Saquon Barkley equals Barry Sanders, 2 greatest running backs of all time. Lord's Grace, we're on the brink of a Super Bowl, and you're crying about Jalen Hurts?
Really, what are you guys doing right here, man? He's in the Super Bowl, and he's going. By the way, I believe he'll be more comfortable in his Super Bowl than even in the first one.
I agree. And I think there's something, too, learning about all the other things that come with the Super Bowl as well.
I agree.
Mark Holmes in a turtleneck says, thanks for all the fun and entertainment you give us, Sills. John, you have great takes. Xander, you're a superhero. I wouldn't call me a superhero, man, but I appreciate it. Super Bowl, here we come. Dallas sucks. I love it. Thank you, man.
By the way, man, Xander's killing it, man. He's absolutely getting better every single day, man.
Here we go. Brian Pumper checks in. Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. Jalen Hurts, masterclass loading. Let's go, baby.
Look at that, man. That's right. Hey,
That was
Pumper, you
great.
can't have one foot on the beach and one in the ocean and say you're all in.
Dude, that is hilarious. That Pumper, you always seem to amaze me with what you come up with. Well done by you. Lord's Grace again. Thank you, bro. GMs relied on running backs around throughout 70 to 2000, 1948 Eagles for the next 2 years because of the quarterback. Saquon has to carry the team. Come on, Lords.
It's okay, Lord's Grace. He played 2 good games this year. One happened to be the NFC title game.
Yeah, dropped 55, and he doesn't deserve credit for that. Lord's Grace, are you going to be happy? Lord's Grace, let me ask you a question. Lord, are you still in here? Let me see if he's still in here by any chance. Lord's Grace, if Jalen Hurts is hoisting a Lombardi trophy in 9 days, are you going to be happy, or are you going to be butthurt that you were proven wrong? Because I'm sensing a little bit of that from you.
Oh,
Lord.
no. Here, I'll let you know this too. If that kid proves me wrong, like Lamar Jackson proved me wrong on what kind of player he was, kudos. That's fucking what this is about. Nobody likes to take a shit on a guy, and nobody roots for failure, dude, unless you're a loser. Nobody roots for failure.
I hope not. No Limit checks in. Oh, did we already get this one? I think we did, right? Yeah, we did. No Limit. Thank you, bro. All right, that's all of them.
Good. All right.
I gotta run because I got
You got it, my friend. What? You gotta return my text? How you doing?
Sileo hits me back with an emotional text.
This guy was a dick to me last night. Now I'm looking over at my wife. I go, I'm not even fucking asking him a stupid question. She goes, you are calling somebody a here. My wife goes, you're calling somebody a dick? I go, yeah. She goes like this. Really?
Yeah, I'm sitting at my desk last night. My phone beeps. I'm like, it's Sileo. I'm like, what the fuck does Sileo want at 8 o'clock at night? I just talked to you, dummy. What the hell you need? 4 hours I just spent with you. What? All right.
Zander,
I snap back at this motherfucker. I'm like, hey, man, F you, bro.
Zander. Hey, brother, I'll see you, man. Thank you, brother.
All right, bro. Make sure everybody tunes in. Football 24/7 coming up after the show tonight. We'll give you guys an update. So I appreciate it. Sills, love you, brother. Appreciate everybody in the chat. See you.
Love you too, my friend. Hey, do not forget our great friends at Morgan & Morgan, man. We've been friends with John Morgan, as I've been telling you, for over 20 years, folks. And I've been friends with this man and his wife and his family. And to watch them build Morgan & Morgan up to where it is today is one of the most remarkable stories in all of business. Morgan & Morgan is America's #1 injury law firm in the country. And it's because of hard work and representing Americans like you guys out there. I mean, they have a track record that is second to none with over $20 billion in recovered money for clients. Morgan & Morgan, as I said, their resume speaks for itself and it's unmatched. Here in PA, a client was offered by an insurance company $650K on a settlement. No way, man. Morgan & Morgan went in there and got $26 million for that family. Here's another one. In Florida, a client was offered $350,000. Morgan & Morgan and the team that he has assembled went in and got that family $12 million. This is what Morgan & Morgan does. Look, life is tough. Making a decision like this will be second to none. If you're ever injured, check out Morgan & Morgan, my friends. And again, it'll be the best decision that you ever make. I promise you. And if you win, get this, that's the only way. The fee is there. The fee is free, okay? For more information, go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound 529. That's FORthepeople.com/big sales. That's pound 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we